being here and being part of this. And really the whole point of this is we just want, 2026 is going to be a massive election year in Colorado. And we have every executive branch office up for election. We've got some amazing candidates in the race, as you heard from. You know, we have a very slim very slim minority in the House and the Senate from becoming a super minority. And, you know, one of the things that I hear about a lot is, you know, the state's gone, the state's gone, the state's gone. How many of you guys hear that all the time? The state's gone. I still have a little hope that we can turn this around, and I think, you know, having you guys actively involved into this and being a part of this and walking out of this motivated to look forward to 26, we want you guys to hear from the state legislators themselves about what happened in 25, and then really look at what's going to happen in 26. And because what happens here, you know, we want to motivate you guys to go out and work with your county parties, work with your precinct leaders, your district captains, your elected officials. Get involved, get involved, get involved. So Nate, I'll turn it over to you if you have a few words, and then we'll have the folks come out.
For sure. Yeah, I just want to say I'm honored to be here. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. I want to say thank you to Trent Lisey. Did so much work. Thank you so much for doing that, and Keith Anderson as well. They did awesome. Cameron Groff, my podcast producer, we threw him a lot of curveballs, and we pulled it off. So I'm glad we got here today. So here's the thing: you guys are going to be inspired, you're going to be motivated, everything's going to feel awesome, and you might go home and kind of forget everything you heard. But that's not going to happen, right? Because you're going to actually apply what you've learned. Okay, that's kind of the key here. So all of this is great, feels good, but if you don't actually apply it, it's not going to be meaningful. So knock on doors. By the way, Dan Woog, he won his election by 3 votes, I believe was the number. Is that right? Wasn't it 3 votes? 110. Okay, but it was crazy close. So that's the difference. It was still close. All right.
There was another one that was 3 though.
One good volunteer can make that difference in that election. So for anyone that's saying, "Oh, my vote doesn't matter," or anything like that, it absolutely does matter. Your participation matters. Make the phone calls, knock on the doors, pass out the flyers, all that stuff. Yeah, let's get it rolling.
All right, let's get it rolling. Okay. Carlos Barone, he is a House representative for House District 48. Come on out, sir.
Yay. Woo, Carlos!
All right, next up from House District 50, we have Ryan Gonzalez.
All right, from Senate District 1, we have Senator Byron Pelton.
District 51, we have Representative Ron Weinberg.
And he's back in the House for House District 19, Dan Woog.
I'm sorry to disrespect you.
So have you guys ever watched Nate's podcast, the way he does things, the way he interviews folks? If you haven't, check out his podcast. I think he's interviewed all of you guys up here on the stage.
Byron,
not Ron. Oh, not Byron?
Not everyone yet.
Okay, perfect.
He's coming on next.
Awesome. All right, Nate, you want to get it rolling with our first round here? We're going to go 4 rounds of 10, and in between, we've got a video of those who could not attend tonight because they are doing work outside of their district. So
yeah. So you touched on this a minute ago, but I absolutely hate the attitude that, oh, Colorado's a blue state, we're never going to win it back. And like that hopeless attitude is just like demoralizing, and it's dumb, and I don't really appreciate that very much. So I want to start off with some highlights here and just ask you guys what went well. So what were some of the wins and positive legislation we can be grateful for, if anything? if anyone wants to start us off.
Whoever wants to start, then you guys.
You guys
can
just jump
chime
in.
from there.
Okay, I'll go ahead and get started. So there was a huge win for agriculture this last legislative session. In 2021, the Ag Worker Rights Bill came out where it really hurts private property owners in agriculture. It said that a key service provider could walk on somebody's property without permission to go in and give religious service to ag workers or to healthcare or anything else. That was passed in 2021. Well, we just ran a bill that said that no one can walk on anybody's private property without asking permission, and we got it passed with bipartisan support. There was a Supreme Court ruling that said that you cannot walk on somebody's private property to be a key service provider without, it's called a taking, and you owe money or you owe them money or compensation for walking on their private property. So we got that passed through the Senate.
And a lot of bad things happened in the session, but it was a win for energy. So we actually added nuclear energy to our portfolio. So now we're going to start expanding our nuclear reactors, and it passed bipartisan support. Most of the Republicans were on board with nuclear. And that's important because in a state where we're trying to hurt oil and gas, the majority is, you can't just run off of wind and solar. It's not enough to supply the population of Colorado, so we need other alternatives. And so we got nuclear energy passed, and it was bipartisan after a couple of times, but we got it through.
I honestly thought that Representative Gonzalez was going to take the Tabor resolution, but I'll go ahead and take it for you, buddy, since energy is my thing. So as many of you know, I've been in the oil and gas industry for 23 years. I'm on the Energy Committee along with Representative Gonzalez and Representative Wook. Weld County is very strong on that. But the one thing that I am really proud of that we did this session is we actually killed the Tabor resolution off the calendar this year. They were trying to figure out if Tabor was unconstitutional to the state of Colorado, and that's ridiculous. It was a vote. 70% of the people voted for it, and it's what people want here in the state. And the Democrats really just want to take that Tabor away to get more money from you, the taxpayers, to fund their little pet projects and everything else that they want to do. So that's one thing that I was really proud of this year.
How serious this was, they're going to use taxpayer money to sue the taxpayers. That's how ridiculous that is.
So I got a bill passed that was, I have a big focus on public safety, and we have way too much crime in this state now, more than ever. And that was a big focus for me. So one of the bills that we got passed with bipartisan support was, it was for convicted juveniles, but these are kids that could be convicted of assault, rape, murder, everything. And as it stood, there weren't enough beds to place them in. A judge would have to decide which criminal he's going to put back in the streets. So there currently are young criminals out on the streets because of this problem. There weren't enough beds to use. We had emergency beds, but there was so much red tape, we couldn't use those beds. So the judge was just, okay, any, meeny, miny, mo, I'm going to put this person back in the street, and this person comes in. So horrible system. So now we have, the DA can just make a decision, and we get to use those extra beds that were literally just available and not able to be used. So just one little bill that will help against crime, and I'm going to keep that a focus this next year. It seems what I've noticed as a legislator, we never agree on how to lower cost of living with the Democrats at the state, at the Capitol. But it seems like to me there's some wiggle room on public safety. I think a lot of people, and even the Democrats down there, are realizing this is a serious concern, so that's going to be a focus for me, and it was nice to get that bill passed.
So one of the big things that I always focus on is just listening to what my district is saying. I have a very distinct honor of just representing one city as opposed to everybody else. I have one mayor, I have one city council, I have one school board member, I should say, out of everything else, Nancy Rumpel. And I really try to focus on what people are dealing with in Loveland when they come to me with their problems. I think a lot of you remember Carlos Hernandez had his mother put in an aging home, and she ended up passing away, and that home ended up charging $4,000 in back pay of funding because she had done nothing other than pass away. So that bill actually made it through and got it through to write into state statutes of the state of Colorado with everybody at the table, including landlords and renters. And I'm very proud of that one. Thanks to Carlos Hernandez on the third reading. I had the distinct honor of actually naming the bill after his mother, and it's now called the Letty Act for the state of Colorado. So that was the human side, and it was an honor to work with my constituents to pass such a bill.
Yeah. So the nuclear thing that you brought up, that was like the thing that I wrote down. I was like, well, if they can't think of anything, at least we can, at least we can appreciate that we have nuclear. And by the way, that position is so illogical. Like, imagine being a Democrat as an environmentalist and against nuclear. That's ridiculous. Like, what? How can you possibly be against nuclear? That is the cleanest, most powerful form of energy.
That's the smallest of the hypocrisy that we do.
Right. I mean, that's one. You're exactly right. No.
Let's not let them tear each other apart because there was a fight between nuclear, between the more moderates and the progressives. So let's want to watch on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah, Democrat infighting is more fun to watch than Republican infighting, I'll say that. So, I wanted to say just one cool thing that happened. So this church, Res Church, actually promoted a fundraiser for a lawsuit. So because of, I believe it was because of 1312, there was a camp, like a summer camp, a kids' summer camp, that they were forced to allow transgender campers in the same dorms as these other little girls. And you're just like, it's completely ridiculous. They actually, I believe, did they win that lawsuit? They at least got an exception for summer camps, so that's great. But anyway, that's just a cool thing that happened right here. We backed that, we funded it, we supported that, so I was just honored to be a part of that. So.
Yeah, that was amazing. So it's great being a part of this church. So I appreciate the church for allowing us to be here, but it was amazing that they were able to kick in and help with that cause through, it's unfortunate what we got going on today. It's really battling evil. Is that what you guys would say down at the state capitol? It's good versus evil is what we're facing today. And so I would just want to ask you guys, how do you work with evil? Like, what do you guys do when you go down there every day? You know you have to go down there. You know that you love your district. You're fighting hard. We're in the minority. What do you guys do to convince the other side, if that's even possible, to come to our side just a little bit?
I think for me, going in there and actually generally feeling the presence and just like the energy in that place, I always call out to Him. I really do. God, it's another day. Please just protect me. Please look after me. Repel all the negative energy. Bring forth potential good ideas from good people. I don't know their intentions, but our God does. He knows our thoughts, our actions, what we're going to do, what we did, what will happen to us. And I think that's secure enough for me to work with some people on the other side and just talk about, rely on Him to open some doors for new opportunities, for legislation, for leadership, for outreach. And I think that's kind of what helped me also keep myself sane, because I saw, the consummation of the fighting going on the floor and everything, the stress that it does to some legislators. I told myself I wasn't going to do that. And so I always rely on Him, and my family always prays for me and every day. And I think that's just part of what gets me through these negotiations.
I think the thing that we have the most, and what I rely on, is these folks that are sitting up here right now. I get to see them all the time. I mean, Ryan and I were texting until 11 o'clock at night because he was on the floor, and I was sitting in my nice warm house and my dad's house, because I stay. I cat about 22 head of cattle at my dad's house in Strasburg, and I don't want my wife and kids to have to do it when I'm away, so I do it when I'm there at this legislative session. But I text with Ryan, and we had conversations. I talked to Carlos, I talked to Weinberg and Wu all the time. Ty Victor, we're really good friends. I sit in his office. The other thing that I have a strong relationship with is that I was a former county commissioner, and I have to say that Weld County has some of the best county commissioners in the state of Colorado. Scott James and I mean, he tells me all the time, he says, I don't know how you do it, man, I don't know. And I know the Republicans are in the power of the county commissioners, because there's more of us than there are of them, so that makes me feel a lot better when I'm talking to my county commissioners, because they get a lot of stuff done as county commissioners. So I have that core group that I have, and not to mention, but my wonderful wife who let me just tell you, my car was vandalized on the last day of session this year. They wrote a nice expletive. If you want to see it, it's the red Bronco out there on the hood. They wrote a nice expletive on my hood, you know, and I'll never forget, because I was like, oh, that poor person that did that. I feel bad for him, because he doesn't know what he did, because he was just, you know, maybe messed up. And if you walk around the Capitol, you'll see a lot of crime there. And my wife just went off. You worked so hard for that, you've done so much, you give all this extra time to your constituents, and this is what happens. And I just gotta tell you, I love my wife and kids so much, and they're just a great support system as well. So that's how I do it.
I'm back for another term in a different seat. I served in a different seat a few years back, but I learned over this time, and there are some good bills. I think generally there's way too many passed every year. I think that limits our freedoms in general. There's just a lot of bad bills, as we all know and probably agree on. But if we want to get something good passed, I have found, I think all of us up here that